Wireless technology is amazing and sometimes fragile. Cracked screen, battery issues, water damage? Yak Wireless in Colleyville is the place to go for top-of-the-line service and accessories to bring your wireless device back to life. At Yak, we have an experienced staff and repair thousands of phones a year, from iPhones and iPads to the latest Android phones. Just off of Highway 121 in Colleyville, Yak Wireless can repair your phone. Or if you need a replacement, we have hundreds of used phones for sale. Yak Wireless in Colleyville.
Okay, today we're going to show you how to fix an iPhone 6. This is our very first broken one. It's a customer unit. He didn't have it very long and he dropped it and broke the screen. So after testing out to make sure that everything works, we're going to show you how to fix it. The good news is it's fairly similar to the iPhone 5S on how to fix it. There are a few things that you do have to watch for. You're going to need the typical tools, which is going to be a pentalobe, a spudger, a Phillips head screwdriver, ESD safe tweezers, and then we also like this iCracked suction cup tool to remove the screen. The new screen, notice that it has the small bits already attached. That's how we buy them. So we have the retaining rings and the earpiece mesh and stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead first and remove the pentalobe screws in the bottom. This is a like I said, it's a fairly simple repair. It is a very expensive part. If you find the part on the internet and it's a screen only and not an LCD attached, don't buy it because it's worthless. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use the suction cup tool. If our screen was too broken to use this, we'd actually lay down some packing tape, which would give us a chance to bite. We do this here because it's just a little bit easier to get a grip on the actual first person separation. You can see we're having a little problems with this. So one of the things you can also do is you can go in with the spudger and just use the spudger. This device here will just help free the screen up a little bit. And just see, we're going to come in here with the soft-sided. It's a metal spudger, but it's got a rounded edge, so it shouldn't bite too bad on the frame. The iPhone 6, the frame actually sits, the screen sits above the frame, which is very unusual, but it does, which makes it a little bit easier to get apart. So again, we're going to continue to work on this. This is the first one we've done, so we're being extremely cautious. It still only took us about 15 minutes to fix, which isn't bad. So we're going to get in here and work on just making sure we can get underneath that lip. A couple of things that are different. The 5S, the home button, was connected down to the frame with a very thin cable that you could damage. On the iPhone 6, they actually run the home button cable up along the mid frame, the backing plate. And because of that, you don't have so much to worry about. Okay, we're getting this thing open. And there you go. It's all set and open, so let's go ahead and show you some of the things on the inside. It's got a much bigger battery, at least size-wise. It feels bigger. It actually doesn't take up too much more space. So we're going to go ahead and remove these two bottom screws down here that are covering up the plate that allows us to disconnect the battery. We like to disconnect the battery before we start unplugging stuff on the phone so we don't short anything out. Okay, battery is now disconnected. So up here we're going to work on the top EMI shield. There are 5 screws for this. On the iPhone 5, there were 4. They've added one in the center now. So we're going to go ahead and remove all of these screws. And just like every iPhone, there's different size screws all throughout this thing. So if you do to lay them out, make sure you put them in a proper order like you see us doing here. Okay. I'm going to take that shield off. And then you have your cables. So go ahead and disconnect 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's 4 cables because now you have the home button cable. So go ahead and put aside the actual base of the phone. We don't need it anymore. Pull out our screen here. So on this screen, you've got your typical 2 cables, and then the other 2 are going to be the proximity sensor and the home button cable. And you can see on that mid plate where the home button cable is actually routed underneath that mid plate. You can see where the relief is for it on there. So you want to be careful when you pull this thing off. Go ahead and remove the backing plate on the home button. There we go. And now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the screws for the mid plate. So we'll go ahead and pull those off and lay them out in the proper order here. Normally I'd be speeding up this video, but since the video is only 17 minutes, I figure you guys want to have a good long look at this thing before you guys, try and attempt any home repairs. And of course, Yak Wireless does this for demonstration purposes only. You should note that the second that you drop your iPhone, your warranty is actually void because of user damage. If you then go and have someone else repair it, it is also void. Having it repaired doesn't actually cause the initial voiding. If you open your perfectly good iPhone, then you avoided your warranty. But once it's dropped and user damage has been caused, all bets with Apple are pretty much off. It's a strange catch-22 that they have. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're also going to disconnect the top. This is the EMI shield that covers the top proximity sensor and camera and earpiece speaker. Go ahead and pulling those off. 3 screws there. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and lift that shield off, which then exposes. So that little flap cable there, that's actually attached to the screen. That's not part of the mid plate, so that won't be coming off when we remove this cable. We're going to go ahead and pull this up. And this is actually the home button. You can see the top part of the flex, and then here's the bottom part of the home button. But that whole piece comes off right there, and the cable disconnects down at the bottom on the home button. And then you can pop it off. Use a little bit of heat before you do that. We did that one seemed to come off pretty easily, but we had another one, mine actually, that we worked on that didn't come off easily. So there's the earpiece speaker. And now what we're going to do is we're going to pull up the proximity cable. And again, you can hit this with a little bit of heat if it seems to be sticking. And once we get that off of there, you can see, make sure and pay attention to which way it routes through. So what we're doing now is pulling up that whole proximity cable. There you go. So, okay. We've got that off. Now we can put that broken screen aside and start building up the new one. So we're going to go ahead and peel off the backing tape here. Placing the mid plate on there. Go ahead and screw this back in. It's nice that they allow that home button to disconnect down off the mid plate, so it makes changing it a lot easier. One of the things you will notice with the iPhone 6 is that everything is a lot thinner than on the 5. So just go slow and be really gentle with it. Trying to get that screw to seat in there properly. Okay. This one. Okay. So it's having a bit of problem with that one screw, so we're going to try and seat another one from the other side in there and see if it fits in better, and then reverse the two. There we go. Okay. This one seems to be okay on the other side. Go ahead and keep putting in these side screws here. Yak Wireless does have these parts in stock, so we can fix your phone while you wait. We are charging $249.95 for an iPhone 6. We have both white and black screens. Okay, we're remounting down the home button. There's little guiding clips that you can push the flex cable down onto to make sure everything seats down properly. And now you got to remember to plug in the flex cable from up top down to the home button. Then you put on the lower EMI shield. A couple of screws for that. After you get this all screwed down, make sure you just take your thumb from the other side and click that home button to make sure it's seated in there properly and that nothing's binding on it. See, he's checking it right now. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go set this flex cable in here. So what you got to do is you got to fold down that little tab. Now on ours we have a little bit of adhesive here to help hold the proximity sensor. Some of your screens may have it, some not. Ours do. We buy very nice screens, very high quality. And then you've got to go ahead and seat the proximity sensor and the front-facing microphone in there, as well as the camera ring. And it's all in a layered effect. It comes in here kind of one level down. Okay. Now he's placing the area so the camera will seat in there. Yeah, there we go. Getting the earpiece. Again, the most important thing here is to really pay attention when you're taking it apart. To really look, because it's kind of hard to show in a video exactly how all this kind of seats in there. Okay, getting that's the front proximity sensor we're getting seated in. Then comes the earpiece speaker in on top of that. Making sure it fits into its slot. And then laying the cable over it with the front camera. And then on top of all of this, to hold it all down, comes the top EMI shield. And you got to make sure you get everything aligned right, because if you don't, that front proximity sensor will not allow the screen to dim. Everything's got a spot. If you buy one without, if you buy a screen that doesn't have the plastic retaining rings and the metal proximity sensor retaining ring, you're going to have to peel them off the old screen and just make sure that you get everything adjusted in there properly. We like to buy them pre-fit, so that way we don't have any problems with this. Okay. You notice he pulled the screen protector off before we plugged it in. We have seen in some cases where if you leave that screen protector on and you turn on the phone, the static charge on that screen protector will actually blow the LCD. So we always pull those off beforehand. Now remember, instead of 3 cables like on the iPhone 5, there's 4 because you have that extra home button cable. So you go ahead and get all these all plugged in. It's all a very tight fit now. Okay, now we're going to put on the top EMI shield, again, 5 screws. Okay, comes the middle one. And just like in the iPhone 5, the upper right one will not handle magnetization. So there's not magnetized, so you have to use tweezers to put it in place. Okay, now we're going to plug it in. There we go. Put on the bottom EMI shield. We actually tested this screen out beforehand, so that normally at this point what we do is we plug it in, test the screen before we lay it down. Okay, got all that. Now you feed it in from the top just like on the 5S. Pressure fit it down. Okay. Should fit in nice and flush, sits down on top of the frame. Use pentalobes to put in the bottom 2 screws. And from here, we fire it up and make sure everything works. So pretty easy repair. The top proximity sensor, again, watch it carefully when you pull it out so you can see exactly how it lays in there. That's probably the only really tricky thing about this. Other than that, a fairly straightforward repair, very, very expensive part. Yak Wireless repairs over 7,000 phones and iPads a year. We provide free shipping to you if you ship the device to us to be repaired. And you can reach us either at 817-399-1000, or you can send us an email at gladeroad@yakitup, that's YAKITUPDFW.com. And thanks for following us on YouTube. We look forward to providing more of these, and hopefully we'll have an iPhone 6 Plus here in the very near future.